It gives me great pleasure to introduce Tony, who will now wrap up the night. He's the Manager of Environmental Water in the Department for Environment and Water and has worked on wetlands, floodplains, including Chowilla and River Murray management for the past 25 years. He's now responsible for the management of water for the environment program across the South Australian Murray-Darling Basin, including South Australia's TLM program, and working with the Commonwealth and the upstream states to ensure coordinated and effective delivery of water for the environment to South Australia. Welcome, Tony Herbert.
Thanks, Tony. I'm here to wrap up and to provide a few reflections on the Chowilla Icon site and the Living Murray program in its entirety, and to offer a few comments about what the future might hold for Chowilla and the TLM. I guess it's been acknowledged that the Living Murray was foundational to the basin plan in terms of things like water recovery and works, environmental works. And you know, I've always thought of the basin plan as a second step decision. Really, it was the TLM that did all the pioneering, and as it's been said, the knowledge that's been transferred to other sites like Pike and Cat has been invaluable. We've heard a fair bit tonight about the importance of a range of things, including the importance of traditional owner engagement and knowledge. We've heard a lot about the enormous value of community engagement and support, and the words of Kevin. We've heard about the value of the science. It's not just an employment program for recent graduates, Jace. It's actually pretty bloody valuable stuff, and it's critical to us as managers in getting the best out of the water we've got available to us and getting the best possible outcomes for the site. We haven't talked about it a whole lot tonight, but it's equally important that we are challenged, that people question what we're doing. A lot of what we're doing isn't happening anywhere else at this scale in the world, as far as I know. It's pretty groundbreaking stuff. And I don't want to say we don't know what we're doing, but people haven't done this before. So it's really important that we question all the time what we're doing, why we're doing it, and it's really important that people question us. It'd be much nicer if everyone just said you're doing a great job, get on with it, but the reality is a little different to that. We do get questioned, we do get challenged, and it is really important. It makes us ask questions of our scientists and others as well, and it improves the decisions we make. And we've heard a lot about collaboration, cooperation with a whole range of people, the operators, Robbie Bonner, or Mother Nature, I think we're calling him now, land managers, water holders, and many other stakeholders. The collaboration is important, and we would not be here tonight talking about 20 years of the TLM without the engagement and the support of so many different people. We've also heard a bit of good news. You know, the plan's working. The conditions at Chowilla have improved from 20 years ago, and that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. So that's really, you know, it makes me actually get some pride and feel good about the work that me and the team are doing. We're making a difference on the ground. The ecology is improving. It's not to say everything's perfect. It's a long way from perfect, but we're actually making a real difference. You know, we've had several successful operations, and we've seen some of the really positive responses from that. But we're also still learning. You know, each year, each event, things are going to be different. The responses will be different. We can't expect that what happened last year is necessarily going to happen next time or the time after. So the investment in the science and the learning is going to continue to be important. As I said, there's not really a template for this stuff. So making sure we understand what is going on and why we're seeing the results we are is a fundamental part of managing something like Chowilla. Equally, we also want to be able to tell the story in places like this and every other forum, you know, what has worked, what hasn't, and why. And so it's an important investment in science and knowledge so we can actually tell people what's going on. We can also expect there's going to be increasing pressure to use water as effectively as possible. So having good science to back up our decisions and to help demonstrate some of the outcomes that we are aiming to achieve is also extremely important, and another reason why we need to continue investing in the science and the expertise that we've heard from tonight. We've seen this image a couple of times tonight. This is obviously the flood of late December, well, peaked in late December 2022 at about 190,000 at the SA border. And you can see just about all of the 18,000 hectares of Chowilla is underwater. I think we might have seen this image tonight as well. That's the Chowilla regulator. I won't press the button, I'm not sure which one, but you can see the stop logs there and the regulator, or just the top of them at least, completely underwater. So that flood certainly did a whole lot more than we can ever hope to do through an operation of the regulator. Not even Robbie Bonner or Mother Nature himself can do that for us. So floods are really important. Large natural flood events are going to continue to be extremely important for Chowilla and the Lower Murray, and in fact the whole of the Murray system. We can do a lot with managed inundations, but we can't do all of the things that a flood can do. There's one of our, I think that's the 2016 event where we almost went to top of piers, and although you can't see a whole lot of the floodplain, you know, we're a long way short of what a large natural flood can do, both in terms of inundation and also some of the other things that floods do, like the hydraulics that Bicy and BZ have talked about tonight. So we can't replicate all of that. But what we can do is recognise that large floods aren't coming as frequently as they used to, and the floodplains and wetlands can't be supported in the long term without additional help through managed intervention or increased environmental flows. So managed events are and will be critical in the long term for Chowilla, and they may become more important depending on how things turn out with water recovery and climate change and these sorts of things. So we obviously don't want to inundate Chowilla every year with a regulator. We want to do it sparingly. There's good reasons not to do it too often. But we are going to have to continue to operate the regulator to supplement the natural floods. There's other things going on that are obviously going to be important for Chowilla as well, like the completion of the basin plan. There's still 450 gigalitres of water to be recovered. There's still constraints upstream that have to be relaxed so the water can be delivered most effectively. These things are really important if we want to get the best out of the basin plan, if we want to get the best results for the River Murray and places like Chowilla. And obviously, to make it all work, we're going to have to continue to collaborate with the water holders, the Murray-Darling Basin Authority and a range of other stakeholders to make sure that things are delivered and managed in the way that serves South Australia's needs best. Thinking about the future of TLM and what's happening at Chowilla, my hope, my expectation, I guess, is that the TLM will continue well into the future. At the moment, we're in the middle of negotiations about the budget for the next 4 years, so there's some cause for optimism, at least in the short term. But I mean, ultimately, I hope I'm here, not standing here, but somewhere in the crowd, you know, listening to what's happened in the next 20 years, and hopefully the site will be flourishing. You know, that's what I hope. That's what we're in this game for, is to actually improve the ecology of the Chowilla floodplain. There's been various conversations and discussions about 20 years of TLM, and one of the slogans or mottos that is being trotted out a fair bit is this line here: lots achieved, lots to do. And I think that's absolutely right. We've come a long way, but we're still at the beginning of a much longer journey, I think. My last thing is really just thanks, I guess, to everyone who's been involved in this program. And I've got a bit of a list here, and I'm going to go through it so I don't get this wrong. But I do want to say thanks to a whole range of people for their contribution to making 20 years of TLM a success. And I'll start by first thanking our host tonight, Tony Charlie. Tony's obviously got a long history of involvement with Chowilla, and he's been a strong advocate of the TLM program and all matters Chowilla, so thank you. To all of you in the audience, thanks for being here tonight. Many of you have got your own relationship with the Chowilla floodplain, and every person's got their own stories to tell, and many of you have shared those stories with me and the TLM team over the last 20 years, so thank you all. Also, thanks to those dedicated individuals that have been part of the Chowilla Community Reference Group over the last 20 years. And as we've heard tonight, the advocacy from the community has been around for a hell of a lot longer than TLM, and it's the efforts of many people in this room that have helped get us here tonight. To our presenters tonight, thanks for all your thoughtful, entertaining and high quality presentations, and thanks to all the scientists that have and continue to contribute to our understanding of the work at Chowilla. Also thanks to a range of technicians from DW and Landscape Board and other organisations who have been or are still involved in the critical monitoring. The importance of the data can't be overstated, and the analysis and expertise is appreciated. I'd also like to acknowledge the continuing support from the traditional owners of Chowilla, the First People of the River Murray and Mallee region, and the Maroora Nation. SA Water's got a few pats on the back tonight, and I'll give them another one. They expertly operate. They can make water do things that you wouldn't believe it could do. And I'm forever going to call Robbie Bonner Mother Nature from now on. The National Parks and Wildlife who manage the reserve, and our colleagues who manage in New South Wales who manage Colkerna, thanks for your support and cooperation as well. For tonight, thanks to Ali and Jan and Grace, and I think Theo and Mel and probably others. Thank you all for making it happen. And my last word of thanks goes to the TLM team in DW, Jan and Ali, who I've had great pleasure working with for many years, and more recently Grace, who's joined the team as an ecologist and doesn't know what a drought is. I mean, they're the engine room of what makes the TLM site at Chowilla work. Not only do they organise events like this, but they basically run the TLM program at Chowilla for 20 years, and they deserve enormous credit for their efforts. So thanks to the team. So, hang on. So you're peaking early. I'd like to conclude proceedings by asking all of you to join me in showing our appreciation for the efforts of everyone involved in achieving this amazing 20-year milestone. Thank you.